Matt, first question. Do we know what the heck we're doing?
Man, you're the captain, man. I'm number one.
I've
You're
heard that. That's like an echo now. I don't believe it, but I appreciate being propped up. Welcome to the 10th Comic Art Live on Comic Art Fans. 2 days of panels. We're excited about this one. To tell you a little bit about Indie Comics Creator Con, I've got with me Matt Sardo, who started it last year. And why don't we just dive right in, Matt, and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to this moment in your life.
Man, you know what? I have like we were talking before this, but as soon as you started talking, we went live. I got goosebumps. Like
Did you?
today has been really exciting. Like I was hitting the refresh button for the to see everybody's gallery and all this stuff, and see all the indie artists that we're working on in Hall I that are part of IC3. And I was looking at all this art, and I was just like having an amazing time. This morning, and just getting jazzed up, and then like to talk art and talk indie creators. Like it's so exciting. So thank you for having this panel.
Yeah, you made this panel with me, so I don't know why you're thanking me. Let's get past this, right?
I
And
know,
you
I
also
know, I know, I know.
totally avoided the question. You
No,
totally. I mean,
well,
who
this is
are
me.
you? Why are you
I
here?
am excited about indie comics, and that's
Yes.
what I bring to the table. I was like, you know what? I have so many friends that are indie creators, and we've been talking about how like MegaCon, has been going away from the indie creators, or other shows. You see it. It's like all these actors, all this other stuff, and I was like, let's do an indie show where it's just focused on indie creators, because I always had a blast going to the Howard Johnsons in Middletown, New York as a kid, and I just and then hitting the White Plains shows, and then I wanted to bring some of those feelings back, of just like just a community family kind of like vibe. And so I did. But there's definitely a very longer journey to getting to that point in time. Like, I grew up, working at comic shops. I owned a comic book shop. I run Monkeys Fighting Robots, which
I
talks
went to
about.
that comic book shop. Thank you.
Yes. Oh man, that you were so mysterious when I first met you. I was
Keep
like, "Who is
going.
this guy?" And like, 'cause I think you were the first art rep that I ever met for comic books.
Hmm.
Outside of like Alex Ross, like something big like Alex Ross. And I was like, and this is where, even as a person who owned a comic book store, didn't understand, the value of having an art rep when it comes to this stuff, and so at that time we're like, middle aughts, like 2006, around that time, like you're kind of just launching that like art rep time. Is that correct? Like, is that where like the art rep boom?
I think I started doing art rep around 3 or 4, if that's the question, 2003 or 4 maybe, and it was just like helping out friends, and I had a career in the biotech pharma field, and I knew all about legal things and contracts and strategy and finances, and I was in the art world. And because I was so unhappy with my day job, I basically said, "Please, someone let me rep you." So I have a reason and like a direction. Started a small press company, SPX, tabled a bunch of times, all that stuff. So that was all. Yeah, that was all mid 2000s. And the art reps are kind of come and go and come and go and come and go, but there's some big ones and good ones and active ones. And I think we might even have like a semi art rep producer guy on the show today. Sure, I think he represents some artists. Yeah.
Uh, but no, for me, the best part of owning the comic book shop was doing the events. And even back then, I was like, man, if I can get a job where my only job was to promote an event all year long, and then like have the event, and then spin it around, and then keep promoting it again. And so I've been thinking about doing this show a show for a very long time. And then the pandemic hit, and met all these people online, and we made some zines and magazines, and we had a lot of collaborative effort. And then like I was like, oh, I have a base now of creators to come to an indie show. And then, we came out of the pandemic and all that stuff, and we put it together, and the first show was amazing. And it's basically like all my different skill sets, from being in radio, and, owning a comic book shop, and then the website promotion and all these things. Like, they kind of culminated to a peak last March. And It was insane and it was awesome the first show. And I had, you know, I had I'm kind of dumbfounded because I had Maddie Keene walk up to me like at like 8:01 in the morning. It was cold out. He's walking around Southern Connecticut, the college campus where the convention's hosted. And I was like, I see this guy lost. And I was like, hey, you looking for the comic book show? And he's like, yeah. And he gave me a big smile. And I walked him into the show. And he's like, man, I feel like this is what the first San Diego felt like. And I was like, oh man, don't like there's been so many different goosebump moments, and it's all because of the creators. The creators, man, they keep me so energized and charged and focused on just throwing an amazing event because they do so much for everybody.
I believe me, I understand that. I mean, it's the same thing with comic art fans. And comic art fans, we have both collectors and creators, and then underneath them, art reps, auction houses, so on and so forth. But do a thumbnail, Matt, about last year. When it was, where it was. The exhibitors, a number of exhibitors. Just give us a feel about earlier this year.
So yeah, I keep saying last year, but it was only March
I do,
9th.
I do too. We did OAX in January. I say last year every time. Yeah.
So it was March 9th. It was a Saturday. And it was at Southern Connecticut State University in New Haven, Connecticut. And it was also like it's the 40th anniversary of Turtles, which is an indie, kind of a small indie book.
Yeah.
But we had about 100 creators come to the show and set up an exhibit. We have a great venue at the college. It's their student center, and they have a nice ballroom. It's really beautiful. Lots of glass windows too, and I think we're on the third floor, so you get to see all of like New Haven and the Connecticut hills and trees and all the fun stuff. And man, it's just I love that moment. And everybody set up on Friday and came rolling in, and it was this huge reunion because we've all talked to each other on Facebook, and so it was like a huge reunion of people that came in, and it was like, oh man, we're finally meeting in person, and we've made comic books together, and we've done all these cool things. And so Friday was just a lot of fun. And we had like a drink and draw at the Marriott, which is down the road from the show, and that's like the official hotel. And so I just saw like all these different people come in from all over the country and stuff. And then I run into Ken Landgraf in the hotel lobby, and like one of the sweetest men in the world, and an amazing artist and creator of like the 70s. And the Friday party was awesome. And to just see just tables and tables of creators packing the hotel bar, and then you just see ink and pens and paper everywhere. And just so many people just be like, "Hey, what do you wanna draw?" And we're just like they're busting out everything. It was just that right there, like, made it a successful show right there off the bat. And then Saturday morning, it was, it was cool out. It was nice, it wasn't cold, but it was like cool and crisp. And then everybody just kind of rolled in, and it was kind of like this like slow buildup of like noise, because everybody kind of sets their things up, and then people started coming in, and I was at the ticket window or ticket area, and so I really didn't see what was going on. And then so I'm checking in people and everything, and then I walk into the ballroom and to just hear the crowd and the chatter and the talking. Like, everybody was just talking so much, and, like, there were smiles and, people were buying stuff. That was the thing that was amazing. I think there was only about 500 people that came to the show,
Mm.
but everybody who left the show walked out with handfuls of books, and I was like, "This is amazing." And it was just a great day. It was just a great day.
You sent me a 10 gigabyte file to download, and I selected out just a few photos. I didn't have time to prep slides, so this is a little bit whatever. You can see this, I hope, clear enough.
Yeah, no, we had some really cool volunteers. Hank is definitely one of the great guys and supporters of the show. He went through and took a whole bunch of photos for us, and we had a couple other volunteers like just go grab, just see everything, get through stuff. And 'cause I was just, wheeling and dealing with, people coming in and all that stuff. And it was just, it was a bit, the only other like kind of thing that I like can compare it to is like my wedding day. It was so busy and like it was so much smiles and happiness and everything going on, but like it was blink of an eye, just flew by.
We could probably talk a lot. We've been talking for almost 3-4 months, right? But why don't we bring on some people that were there, at the beginning and at the show and all of that. Who do you want to bring on first? Just say a first name and we'll bring that person on.
Let's go with Eli.
That's what I had. Yep.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Oh my God. Like this guy right here, Eli, he is my unicorn rainbow. Whenever I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do things, and then I'll just send Eli a message. He's just like, you got this. I mean, I don't know why I'm saying you got this because you do it way better than me.
My horn can pierce the sky.
Nice. I'm gonna clip that and use that. Sorry. Free use. Eli, if you don't mind, just please let us know, again, thumbnail kind of thing, who you are and why you exist, that kind of stuff.
Definitely. I exist to harness people's creative juices into comic book joy and love in the world. I'm the publisher of Cosmic Lion Productions. We do a ton of books. Space Knights is for sure one of our big ones. I have my own collection of junk of my own work. Image Grand Design is the one that changed the world for me. Wizards, absolutely. Issue 1 and 2. The Biggins, the best toilet reading ever created. I've nominated it as. And yeah, man, just a publisher and an indie comics guy, tried and true. It's my love and life now. And I was just honored to work with Matt to get this thing, off the ground, to realize it, to get the perfect guests for the first one, to be an ambassador when I could, and then to crash land on Cosmic Lion Island there at the con this year and next year. I'm so excited.
Yeah, man, you worked your butt off getting me some amazing creators. Like Jim Lawson was there.
Oh yeah.
Because of you.
He's my favorite. He did this piece for me of my very first, when I did my very first comic, and he's just been my hero, we have to,
Eli, I don't think I ever told you this story. So when Jamie Jones and Jamie will be under soon, we're writing a comic book together. I went on his front porch. I brought like our, the 6-pack of craft beer, and we crack open a beer, and he throws his book on my lap. He's like, "Oh, I just got this today," and it was Wizard, the first printing of Wizard.
Oh wow!
And I was like, look at this. He's like, "Oh, I got some pages in it and stuff like that," and I was like, what is going on? I was like, what is this indie scene that I don't even like have a clue about? He's like, oh yeah, there's like a Facebook group and stuff like that. And so that was like the moment that you entered my sphere.
Damn.
Was Jamie's like threw Wizard at me and it sat on my lap. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Well, it's almost like a physical manifestation of like what IC3 became, It was like, I always say this saying, the roots to the fruits, and I think it's a true, And if the roots of this whole thing was cartoonist kayfabe, then this all is like the fruits of this amazing, just like two guys who like knew exactly what they loved, and a huge group who were like, oh my God, we love that stuff too. How did you know? And then we're all like, let's just do everything with it.
I can't believe. I'm sorry to cut you off, Kasra, but I still got to talk about like the amount of man hugs that I had at the last IC3 of like random dudes from the internet, like was just astounding.
It was amazing.
But Eli, if I remember, you're West Coast, aren't you? Aren't you? Okay.
I am, yes.
Were you New Englander?
Yeah. I'm born and raised in Maryland, and then I moved up to Vermont because I loved the band Fish, and I wanted to see music every single day of my life.
Yeah.
And so I got a job up there at a live music venue where I saw 365 shows a year, and met all the Fish guys, and that's when I was like, you know what? Maybe if I put my mind to it, I really can accomplish anything. And that's just set forth everything, dude.
Make sure you go at Cosmic Lion. Find him on Instagram. Find him on YouTube. They do a great show. I see Eli all over YouTube, but your show is great.
Thanks, man.
And you're back in 25 with a gigantic island again, right? I think you're set up at Comic Art Live right now too, in Hall I, the IndieCon, with at least 5 artists, maybe more.
Yeah, I think I have 5 or 6 artists. This year, I was kind of just like, we have all these amazing creators. I'm an art dealer now. And so that's like you said, and it's just like I want to help everyone get their original art out. And so I did it. And there's a bunch there. Raymar Brunson of the best-selling Ghost Man. We got John Burkett and his Ghost Agents pages. We got Wunderkind Morgan Heron from Frankie Boy Monster, available in local comic shops now. You can order through Diamond. And who else do we have? I forgot someone, and they're going to kill me.
That's okay. I mean, we can go to Hall I and check that out. There's a couple other guys back here, too, that have Comic Art Live booths. Should we bring him in one at a time, respectfully, or should we just completely
I think we should
crash
bring
it?
them all in.
Bring them crash.
You know what? We're going to leave one person behind.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just got birds back there.
I had to put my pants back on real quick.
Chris Anderson, Jamie Jones, guys, thank you again. Thank you for coming on. The 2 artists that were at the first IC3 that are set up at Comic Art Live. Go check out their work. I know Chris. If we can start with you, I had no idea, but I've seen some Chris Claremont videos of yours, like over time, just a small world kind of thing, right? You have like that CCXCC, I think, show on YouTube, right? Yep. That's you, C2X2.
Yeah.
So if you like Chris Claremont X-Men, go to Chris's channel, Chris Anderson Comics, and Instagram too, right? And check those out. But again, Chris, this is sort of an introductory throw yourself into the fire thing. We're on a compressed timeline, but say the 3 most important things about you and that your mother would be proud of, or any of that kind of stuff.
I'm assuming you mean comics wise, right?
Nah, I don't really care. Comics.
Well, I mean, this is a comics show, so let's talk comics. Probably my best-selling indie comic to date is probably either Lost Angels or Chaotic Neutral, which is a fantasy role-playing game inspired comic, very much adult, but it is also half role-playing game, so people tend to love that. The second issue is on the way to being completed now. I did about 12 issues of Heavy Metal Magazine, which was a lot of fun. I did an issue of Creep Show. Other books are Lost Angels and Spectral: A Showcase of Fear. I got a lot going on. I'm also a storyboard artist, so.
I know. I saw that with the Penguin. I was like, we need to talk about that. But I do want to, this was the commission I got from you from last year's IC3, and this Raphael is just bonkers.
Oh yeah.
I was so excited when you just pulled it out of the book and you're like, here you go, Matt.
If I knew how to highlight your window, I would, Matthew. I'd be
just double click.
There you go.
Pants and buttons. That's the problem.
That didn't work.
Dang it.
So Jamie,
and like you said, I've got a booth here showcasing my wares. The entire issue of that Creep Show thing that I'm doing is up, and just like to say something to the I'm assuming we're talking to a lot of art buyers on here. Support the indie comics people, because you never know that the person whose page you buy for pretty cheap, since they're indie artists and haven't exploded yet, you could potentially be buying the next Ninja Turtles page, or or whatever. So support the indie guys.
Amen.
Yes, sorry. real quick, what do you feel about the new heavy metal since you worked with heavy metal? Like, do you have any like feelings about heavy metal coming back?
I do have feelings about him. I have good feelings about it. I worked with probably about 3 different iterations of the last version of heavy metal, and I'll tell you honestly, they were all a nightmare. But this, I swore I was never going to do it again. It was a great feather in the cap, but I know the people who are running it this time, and when they approached me about contributing to the new iteration of it, I had absolutely no. I said yes right away.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, we'll show some of your work and Jamie's work after the intros. Jamie,
Cool.
hi. Can you say something that tops what Chris did?
The answer is I can't, but I'll do my best. I'm Jamie. I'm a cartoonist. I have been. I've done some books for Comixology back when that was a thing. Still, I did Quarter Killer. That was the book I did over there. I've done some stuff with Ominous Press back in early career mode. I did Monkeys Fighting Robots comic strip with Matt Sardo. Name drop. He runs a pretty cool convention now. And I do a book called The Baboon, which is a pulp action adventure comic akin to stuff like in the 40s and 50s. That's my bag. And then Spakow, my new pulp action magazine.
I was going to ask you how to pronounce it. At home, I've been pronouncing it Spakow.
Good.
That's right.
I love it.
That's right.
Very easy to remember. Can I ask you about I really love your work. I have a little collection here, but I wanted to ask you about your coloring and the lettering and design. Do you do all of that?
Yes. Yeah. This is what you get with indie comics, guys. It's one-man shops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little islands with like the best food trucks of all time that you'll never get to. Come on, let's get them there. The lettering and design, as much as anything, I saw that and I'm like, wow, that's beautifully presented.
Thanks. It's been a lot of time banging my head against an artboard to figure stuff out slowly over the years, but it's been good.
I mean, since I know Jamie, one of the coolest things that he does, and this is my prompt to Jamie, is he usually paints all his covers. I think you paint all your covers, right?
Yeah.
So you get a different feel from like, you have your artwork on the inside, but then you always give like this golden painting to everybody.
I like I love an Alex Ross cover. I love a painted cover. I hate when the cover art is different from the interior art. So I learned how to paint so I could do it myself. It was just a big problem. It was just a minor gripe that I had with people. It was like, oh man, this cover is so cool. The interior art doesn't match it. And so at least, maybe it doesn't match it, but it at least is drawn by the same person, same hand. So.
While Jamie's up, let's just bring some of his art up. This is just a small selection here, and Jamie, you can talk over it, say whatever you'd like. I think some of these were commissions at IC3 and Heroes, if I remember right. Yeah.
Yeah. All of these, I think, are all IC3 or Heroes. I know that Hellboy was IC3. The Usagi and the Man Thing were Heroes, and that Spidey was just a private commission, but.
You're going too fast, man. Let's linger just a little bit here, just a little bit. So, 2 classic sort of start as indies, Sakai and Mignola, tremendous creators, very much at their peak now. And then you've got this, beautiful thing. That's very nice. Battle damaged Spidey. And then I saw like these almost like a sepia wash, or I'm not sure what you were using. A bunch of them.
These are all so Inktober came around. Scott Chandler, who's a cartoonist in Canada, put together a list for Pulptober. I'm a big pulp guy, as my introduction might have alluded to. And here is just a Buck Rogers and a Tarzan. So I did one of these a day for the month of October, and That's what I have for sale on for this weekend is all of these sketches, all of these drawings. So
Yeah, no, that was the cool thing with Jamie and I is that, you know, I'm old, he's young, but we love Hanna-Barbera and we talk about that a lot. And like that connection like is like huge, I think, when it comes to our comic connection.
Jamie, let me tell you, like the first like month that Matt and I were like reconnecting and talking, he must have mentioned your name more than anyone else in the world.
That's good. We're attached at the hip. We have been since pre-COVID, but I think I was the only person Matt actually saw during COVID, besides his immediate family. There's 3 girls under 5 during COVID, so you were like, well, I need one guy to go hang out with.
No, the peak Jamie Jones experience was when I go to his porch and like we drink beer, but the beer, the cover was designed by Jamie Jones because he was working for a brewery at the time too.
Can you give us like a super high pressure? You're in an elevator with someone who's going to publish you for the next 50 years. 30-second pitch of Spakow.
Okay, Spakow is a one-man anthology project. All of it revolves around different pulp style comics. So it features the Baboon, Lorenzo Colt, Lenny Lai Hobo Spy, Wizard Cowboy makes his appearance in issue 1. The second issue has Piston Bottle Rocket, and the idea is just to make as many characters as I possibly can that all kind of live in the same ecosystem. So if I want to do a crossover, I can just do a crossover. If I want to make something new, I can just make something new. It's just a way for me to explore different styles, different types of books, different genres, all under one banner.
You also sorry.
Go ahead, man. Please, yeah.
But you also make a statement about the comic book industry several times in that book. Don't sell your you have opinions too.
Oh yeah, I've got opinions. I hate a lot of things. I love a lot of things. Let me read the book to find out what I hate and what I love. That's what it is. I write articles. I wanted it to be an actual magazine and not just a little piece of not just comics. I wanted to actually say something. So that is this is where I get to do it. The second issue opens up. We lost a lot of people this year, a lot of close friends, and it just starts up just being like, hey, grab milkshakes with your friends and like go and hang out. And it sets a tone. I'm rediscovering my love of comics through doing this book. It's a lot of me. It's a lot of personal me stuff in Spakow. That's
so the art of Jamie Jones on Instagram, right?
Art of Jamie Jones on everything.
Everywhere. God bless you. So then how do I get that book? Do I go to a store? What do I do? Go to your link tree on Instagram?
So I have a Big Cartel, and Big Cartel is where I sell all of my books, the Baboon, Spakow. It's Art of Jamie Jones at bigcartel.com or .bigcartel.com. So
couldn't be easier. Thank you. Do you hear that, West Coast Dave back there, mired in agony, not being on the screen? So let me add one more window here, some more killer pieces. Thank you, Jamie. I usually try to not act so frenetic, but I know that we don't have a lot of time. So I'm trying to even come off as responsible, right? Here we go.
Oh, wow.
Look at this.
Chris.
Can I enlarge that a little? Yeah. Okay.
So Chris, a quick question. Are you allowed to sell your storyboards for the Penguin?
The storyboards for the Penguin were all digital. There's so many revisions involved in storyboards. The only production art that I actually have a few pieces of is from the Creepshow TV show, where they were transitioned to comic kind of illustrations to the show. So the Penguin stuff is all unfortunately digital.
Oh man,
I know it's a drag.
It's amazing though. So I mean,
we're looking at Chris's work here. So Chris, tour guide time, please. What do we got?
Well, I'm working on 3 books at one time right now, so I'm a little bit busy and couldn't really do Inktober and didn't want to commit. So I just made a list of like Saturday morning cartoon characters that I wanted to draw, and when I'm done eventually drawing them, they're going to be collected into a little sketchbook that I'm going to send out to my Patreon members. So this is one of them. This was a Space Ghost one that I did, and a Thundar here. I just give myself like a half an hour in the morning to really quickly bust them out. They're very small, so.
That's
give
a
away.
half an hour.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you hadn't said that, you wouldn't have believed you.
Yeah, there's that the Cerebus Ninja Turtle commission that Josh Even, is that his name, commissions from many creators. He's probably got like, I don't know, 500, I would imagine at this point. You see him all the time pop up.
That is a fantastic piece.
That was a lot of fun.
You nailed some of that mid-tone stuff from Gerhard and Sims. So a little contrast here.
Sure, yeah.
Color.
Yeah, that's a page that's colored by I color myself usually, but that was actually colored by someone named Ruvian. And they did a really great job. Actually, I think that original page might be up. That was from a pitch, so it was never published. But like the books and stuff always like were that the whole page really appealed to me always, and so I wanted to put it up for sale on the site this weekend. I think that one's up, or it might be another one, but regardless, it's going to have those books.
And then this is tremendous.
So that's from Heavy Metal. That's from my longer form story that didn't get finished when Heavy Metal folded. So I got the rights back, and I'm going to finish it and collect it and send it out.
It's just. I'm sorry. Did you write this one too?
Yeah. Yep. Wrote it. It's mostly silent.
So you're inescapably twisted man. Yeah. This is all you.
Yep,
this is wonderful.
I'm trying to corner the market on weird, so I'm working on it.
That's a big market, my friend. And this is a newish one, Patreon, I think one, if I remember.
That's right. That's from Three-Headed Pigman. That's being serialized on my Patreon. Those pages are 19 by 24, all inked with a brush. Those stars that you see in the background are all inked around, so there's no white media on it whatsoever. I did hand letter it, but then I scanned it and put it in. So on the originals, the lettering is not on the original pages, but I wanted to keep it nice and crisp so that when I do eventually release the pages to be sold to collectors, there's no white media. It's just clean as can be.
Wow.
You know, I do like how the indie scene, like Three-Headed Pigman. Like I'm not like blown, like I'm impressed by the originality of it, but like that's now like a genre. I feel like is like people in their different books that they're creating are like all over the place and just coming up with the craziest wild ideas and be like, I'm just gonna make a comic book about a three-headed pigman and like it's gonna go from there. Like it's awesome. It really
definitely
awesome.
Takes a lot of left turns. So
it's again fantastic work. And Chris Anderson Comics, go to Instagram, go to YouTube, wherever weird stuff is sold.
So Eli, how do you like pick out who you're going to publish for Cosmic Lion? Like when you see Three-Headed Pigman, you're like, oh, I'm totally going to publish that. Like I mean, like what do you know? Because you got Frankie Boy Monster, like you have a lot of different things as well.
I get a lot of pitches now that things have been starting to pick up. And I really like, it's truly just a gut feeling, like a feeling that I get when I initially see it. With Chris, I mean, we had already kind of started a friendship and hung out, and we've known each other for a while now. So he's got an open invite. You know, Frankie Boy Monster, he just met me. We just met him at Heroes Con, and he brought his book up to me, and I was like, this is amazing. You know, it reminded me of like young Jim Mahfood, who was like one of my favorites. And so we just kind of hit it off there like that. I just go on gut instincts and feelings and stuff that talk to me. immediately. Wow, here we go.
We can just show them. We can show them how weird you are too, Eli.
Wow,
Let's
it's
do
like
it.
that was
Let's do
intro
it.
was planned. I don't know how that happened. This is a
I
few of
used to
the
work in radio, just so you know. Like,
yeah, that's right. See, some of these guys like Kevin Anthony Catalan, I found him on Cartoonist Kayfabe. They looked at his books on a mailbag episode, and I was like, Jesus Lord, that is amazing. And so I just hit him up immediately, and I was like, let's do something. And now, Kev, this Wednesday, Kevin's book, which is like Space Godzilla versus Mecha Ghidorah from IDW, is coming out. I've seen the pages. They're mind-blowing. You got to go get it. Ghost Agents grew out of indie Image Grand Design, and it's a spy-fi action anthology. Tales from the Wolf, Tony Wolf. I like to tell people when they come to my booth, too, I'm like, I got 25 books and 25 pitches memorized, so test me on them. What do you got? Which one? So my brain is full of this stuff. Thanks, man.
Yeah, we got to give a shout out to Rocco Jerome.
Yeah, for
Ghost
sure.
Agents. He was a huge help in the first IC3.
Yeah,
and and he was definitely in the early stages of like just talking about feel and concept of what we want to do. So big shout out to Rocco. Thank you for all the help on the first show, man. Appreciate it.
Man. Shout out Rocco. I'm constantly working with him. He helps me with social media stuff and helps me. He's my bouncing board and a good friend at this time. Tales from the Wolf. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Wizard. Let's keep it going. Well, Tales from the Wolf is another amazing one. Probably one of our best sellers. He is a New York Times published author, a really, really interesting, fun dude, an actor. You probably saw him before the Super Bowl last year. He played a coach Al Davis. That was really cool. Weird Myths is an international book. Guys are from Turkey. Super genius. White ink on black paper, kind of like animation cells. Just super amazing. And if we kick it down to the next one, next slide. Plitchink.
Next.
Yeah, this is the book that started it all. When I first saw Cartoonist Kayfabe, I was coming out of two other Facebook groups. One was for Ween, where I did 6 issues of the Ween zine for the band Ween. And then we did Ninja Turtle zines. And when Cartoonist Kayfabe started and they were like, we're going over Wizards, I was like, Wizard magazine, not Wizards the film, which is also amazing. I was like, okay, I know the fan base is going to be like insanely talented. We've got to make our own Wizards. And that was like what I wanted to do when I started the Kayfabe group.
Who did the cover?
This is by David Browers, an absolutely amazing creator. And he had the Giant Size X-Men homage, and you got Jim and Ed there and Tom and the characters. And he knocked it out of the park. I have the pencils. I have his original inks for that, and it's mind blowing to look at, man. And Ben Granoff did the colors, my partner in crime with the Grendel zine, or Grendel podcast. Yeah, and there's of both of issues, and we had Matthew Allison. Yeah, I got to Matthew Allison right before he broke too, and I was honored to work with him to get that cover.
My favorite artists, him and Riley Rossmo, are my two favorite comic book artists.
Yeah. Absolute destructors. Looks like we have a desk. Oh, that's my desk. Oh, okay. That's crazy.
We don't
I was like, look at all the cool stuff behind it. Whoa. Okay, got it. I remember that. Oh yeah, the Ween zine extra. Okay, yeah. So just the Wizard magazines. I basically had it wide open, especially for Wizard 2. It was during the pandemic. And I took every single commission or every single submission I received, which brought the page count to 420 pages. And that was just one of my ideas that came sober to me. And
did these figures ever get made?
No. Well, yes. The guy made them. Shit. Punker Mike. Sorry, dude. Yeah, Punker Mike made them, and he made a commercial. There's that's on his channel. So yeah, Punker Mike made all that stuff. And then on the back of those are my personal comics. They can fall. And on the second one, we actually did end up making this, the Cartoonist Kayfabe Bros video game. I had a programmer friend of mine reprogram Super Mario to be Ed and do all this stuff. And so that game is playable. Hit me up if you want. You can play it on your phone on the Delta app now. And then I also have my own comics. I'm a writer and artist myself. I started Cosmic Line doing that. If I'm on my soapbox now, doing Monkey Line, an intergalactic Afro funk band on tour through the galaxy. And
Nice.
so then I have all my stuff in here, including my Weenzine stuff. This is like a Mobius riff. And yeah, so it's just all about, I don't know.
During the
love of it.
pandemic, you hosted where we made the books. What was that again?
Oh, that was called Ringside Thology, which was based after an event that I used to do at Meltdown Comics here in Los Angeles, where every yeah, dude, I agree with Antoine there. It's true. It's true. But that's why we're all out here doing it to keep it alive, to keep hope alive, to keep the dream alive, to keep indie comics alive. So that's where we're at, man.
Can we give Jamie? Can we put him on the spot and give him a multiple choice question?
Let's do it.
Jamie, you have 3 guesses. Stingray ordered a commission from you through your Cal booth. Congratulations! But you have three guesses about which character Stingray wanted you to draw.
I think
Ray Fillet from Ninja Turtles.
Elongated Man.
You got it. You got it. There
No.
you go.
There we
Stingray.
go.
Stingray, I take care of you. Elongated Man coming up.
Perfect.
We got one more guest. Dave, West Coast Dave had to drop off. I just texted him. I didn't realize he had a short time frame, so that's on me. And I'll call him afterwards and like PayPal him some money or something. I don't know, whatever makes him happy. But I'm sorry about that, Dave. I really wanted you to get on. But we have another gentleman back here. If you guys don't mind, we'll bring him on. And Matt can sing his praises as well. There he
Hey
is.
Dan, welcome to the show, man.
Hey,
So,
everyone.
this is Dan Hales, the CEO of Comics Wellspring and the title sponsor of IC3. And man, you believe in me more than I believe in myself. Thank you.
I know talent when I see it. And this group here, holy cow! After watching that, the last half hour was like, wow, some really great stuff. And I see a lot of stuff.
So, give us a like a brief overview of Comics Wellspring. I know there's been some changes and things like that, but just give us
Yeah.
Give us the pitch. Give us the pitch.
Yeah. Well, we're an indie comic book printer. We just recently were acquired by a binder company, and we moved from our original facility, which we outgrew pretty quick, over to this facility. It was a rough journey to say the least, but we're pretty streamlined now, and the only way up, the only way forward is up. So we're just doing everything we can to support this indie community as creators ourselves. Half of us, publish our own books and whatnot. So we know what is needed here, and we know if we got the leverage, we're going to use it to help propel us forward as creators.
Yeah. So, what is the feedback? We had the first IC3, and you talked to a lot of creators. Like, what do you think creators need, like at this moment right now? Like, what are those elements that people are looking for to like take their stuff to the next level?
Yeah. Well, first off, they need a convention like yours, IC3. That's unquestionable. A lot of the great cons out there that were really traditionally indie focused is kind of, as probably many of you know, kind of like veer away from that over time. I know money becomes tight, so you have to bring in big sponsors. Big sponsors kind of push little guys out of the way. So I think it's a tremendous need, but I see like creative people very active in like trying to fulfill that need. And maybe it's not us doing it, but if we can get behind smart, creative people like Matt, yourself, we're sure as hell going to do that. So yeah, I think the cons are a need, everyone, a marketplace. I mean, I look at it as a creator myself. I need, education, I need production, I need distribution, I need a marketplace, and I want to scale. I want to do it full time. Right. So many of us want to do that. So, I think if we're just dabbling a little bit in each of those sectors and supporting indies where they are, I think that'll have a tremendous impact on the growth.
Yeah, I know my origin story with like Comics Wellspring, where it kind of like came into my radar is once I started doing Kickstarters. Like, you guys were definitely a very active and aggressive, like giving discounts and things like that if you were kind of partnered with Comics Wellspring. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, definitely a printer that's reaching out and wants to help you at that time when you where every penny counts and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a huge kind of puzzle to solve. Everyone needs crowdfunding, or majority of people need crowdfunding, but there's only limited options out there, and we're kind of like, monopolized into one. Not saying anything negative about those brands, but however, they're taking a tremendous percentage away. So that's something in my mind for the next 10 years. We're actually fleshing out our EOS right now for 3, 5, and 10-year vision. And one thing that keeps repeatedly on my mind is how can we do more in crowdfunding? How can we find a way to supplement crowdfunding, or at least be a part of that evolution for comic creators? So, I mean, the only thing we can do right now, obviously, is like find a creative way to trade advertisement for discount for printing, and Kickstarter and stuff like that. So that's what we're doing right now. I definitely have tons of ideas of how we're gonna like step into that role a little more going forward. Now that a lot of e-coms are like integrating a lot of pre-sale stuff, crowdfunding stuff right on e-commerce sites. So it is definitely something in my peripherals.
All right, rapid fire. Eli, favorite paper stock?
I love me some newsprint. I do.
Yeah, I know he does.
I do.
It's a web press thing, man.
I know.
You need a specific, and those monsters are bigger than my building.
Well, I also do love a 70-pound glossy.
Oh yeah,
I can.
Yeah.
Newsprint isn't just my favorite paper; it's my favorite perfume for a girl to wear too. She smells like newsprint. I'm pretty happy.
Yeah. I know there's a variety out there. It's just the oxidizing really sucks with newsprint, and the fact that most of it.
Well, you do have don't you offer a off-white? Cream. Yes.
And now once we get the dust settled, what I'm gonna do is really my biggest focus actually going forward is product quality and variety. So like really looking into it. I don't think the last owners, they never put their ears out there. So that's always been, something, a problem with me. So I'm like really trying to be attentive on like what's out there and what people want, and just trying to find a solution with the materials and the machines and the people I have. So like, there's off-white that we do cream. It's 70 pounds. So we are going to look into more. I mean, we're just looking for vendors and paper distributors, and just trying to like shop around what, more unique the paper, obviously, the more expensive it's going to be. So we're just trying to.
Jamie, what's it going to take to get a Spacow embossed chromium foil cover of the Wizard Cowboy? Like, what are we going to get there?
It would take very little. It would take me doing it. That's a very easy thing to do, right? Is all of that side.
My lenticular question was going to be for Chris, so thank you for spoiling.
Yeah,
I'll do that. I'll do that more and more.
That's been brought up a lot too. Lenticular, it's an interesting thing. I haven't like delved in too deep to look, what kind of machines, what kind of production process needs to be in place, but it's definitely something that's been asked quite a bit. And embossing would be cool. I would love to. There's some specific comics I would definitely love to see some embossing.
Yeah, I do know that Jamie has sorry for cutting you off. Jamie did come up with a cool idea that I think every comic book, indie comic book creator could do is he wraps his cover with a sketchable cover, so he can do commissions and it actually just comes on. Why am I telling you? You tell.
Yeah, so
that's cool.
Because all you do is talk about Jamie. That's why.
Hey, I need somebody to talk about me, and if it's Matt Sardo, that's good. Yeah, this is the new sketch cover. This is just like a little mock-up that I've been doing, but it's actually just it's good paper. It's proper like Bristol that I draw on, and I made a lino cut stamp of the logo, so I can actually move that logo around and put it wherever I want, and sign and number these things and get them out in the world. Yeah, and it's just attached to the book. Boom, boom.
Wow.
That's sweet.
Boom. Yeah,
Very cool. Very cool.
it's super nice and super quick to do. If cutting lino cuts is super quick to do, it's not. It takes a
Yeah, right.
but it's great and it's fun, and now it exists.
No, because if you're at conventions and stuff like that, and you have a stack of those, and you're like, "Hey, commissions are this," you're handing them your actual work and their sketch, and you're hopefully charging enough money to where it works out well for everybody. So indie creators, when you're doing your booths, do something like that.
Yeah, have little things to have around and show, and I don't know. I mean, the big guys, the big companies have sketch covers. We should have sketch covers and variant covers, I guess. I don't know. I'm of mixed feelings and of mixed mind, but I made a sketch cover now, so I guess I'm full into the randomization 1 of 13 world now. So that's the new Jamie Jones is all about making money.
But that's, I mean, that's true, but that's one of the reasons for IC3 is I kind of look at it as a hybrid convention conference where I want the creators that are setting up tables, because we have a spectrum of insane professionals to first timers, and I want people to learn from this show and network, and then come out of it being like, oh, now I'm going to hit the road and do more shows. And I learned a lot from my other creators of this is different ways that I could make money or save money or present my product differently so that I sell more. And I'm hoping, and I think that's what happened at the show. You guys can talk about it.
This is good. So this year for IC3, or next year for IC3, Matt brought me in as program director, which basically means I'm just finagling and trying to figure out panels. And we're doing panels that mean something. This is my whole mission is when I go to conventions and I see panels, I don't necessarily need to have guys talk about what it was like in the 80s. I want to know what we can do now, and that kind of thing. So all of the panels are going to be very actively driven towards what are publishers looking for? What is the tastemakers panel? Things. Gosh, I have a whole notebook and everything just went through my brain. But having guys talk about the process, having guys talk about what it actually means, pitching to comic shops. I've got a panel lined up for that too. So how to actually get books into stores.
That's incredible.
Thing.
That's really incredible. Actually, I'm super glad you guys are really tentative on that because, the way I look at it, every time I've sponsored a lot of conventions, and it's sell first, and then panels are kind of they're there because that's what cons do. The one thing I've always wanted is if we ever started something, Comics Wellspring, it was always well, how do we make every other industry does it? How do you make a professional development focused event that also couples with a marketplace or a convention where you're actually selling? So Matt, you and I talked about that a little bit, but I think that's brilliant that you're going to lean into that a lot more. There's so much more value out of that.
There's a lot of great things, and with panels existing online as they do now, it allows for people to figure out what IC3 is directed to. Here's the convention. The convention happens here. But all of this information that I'm Googling on the daily, right? Trying to figure out even if it's just a 5-second snippet or a clip of something that I can take and then utilize in my own workflow, that finding that is always super useful. And I hope that's what we get to do at IC3 is not just bring people to the show, but bring us out into the world through this little window of the internet.
That's awesome.
And guys, sorry, we might have 3 minutes left, unless we don't we don't care. So we have at least 10 minutes left, but let's act like we have 3. So Mikhail, who's works with us at CAF pretty closely, he's probably the person I've talked to about IC3 the most. Matt, you wanted to know a bit about the one-page contest. I remember he loved it.
Yeah, so right now, every creator that is signed up for IC3 that has a booth at the show for the 2025 show can submit a one-page black and white comic, and we will have the best of. I will announce the best of the night before Drink and Draw, so then the creator can have, I don't know if it's going to be like a wrestling belt or some obnoxious trophy, but they can actually have that trophy on their booth, and we can all just celebrate them for their accomplishment for the year. So it's basically anybody who has a table at the booth for the current year of the show can submit a one-page black and white comic book, because we wanted to do something like NASCAR, because I come from a sports background. It's like I wanted to make the car all the same for every creator and see who could drive it the fastest. And so we pared it down to that. So I'm really excited. I've already gotten a few submissions, and like there's been some powerful work that's already come through.
And can we have one more like quick fire from everybody? If they could answer the question, what do you guys think of Cyclops in like as quick as you can? Instinctual, horrible things, please.
Daddy issues.
There you go. That's one. That's a tick. That's a positive.
He's just an a-hole, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
Chris, you have the most experience with Cyclops as of currently.
Yeah, but he's got to say something bad, and you can do that. You know him well. Come on.
Cyclops is not indie.
Okay.
Wow.
We're 3 for 3 so far.
He sure has cool outfits, though.
Love him in Sinbad.
Wow. Look at this guy.
Yeah, I think Matt had it. I nailed it on the head. It's not
Chris,
indie.
you're not going to say anything, are you? Because you got a channel covering this stuff.
No, I just said, I mean, so the channel is just reading through the Claremont run, and it's the first time I've ever read it, so I'm experiencing it basically for the first time. And yeah, he's just a jerk, man. He's just
100%.
And one quick thing about IC3, so everybody knows, is like one of the reasons why I brought in Mike Martz and Heather Antos is, and also Eli, I'm roping him in this too. We're gonna do portfolio reviews this year, and that's gonna be really cool. That'll be.
And are we doing a Friday night thing as well, like for the creators, like panels on Friday or something?
Well, yes, there is going to be like a pro panel where we're going to figure out one issue for the indie comics creators, and we're going to solve it. We're going to solve one issue.
Okay,
that's the
one
goal.
Issue. It could be Space Knights #1. That's a good issue.
No, like what problem?
Like
a problem. We're not going to
World
read
Peace would really help me sell indie comics.
Matt, take us out a little bit here. And
I just got that in the mail, dude. That was sweet.
Yeah, Tony McMillan made an amazing cover for us for our poster. That was the cool thing about working with indie artists, is they make some insanely awesome posters for the show. Last year, I think we had like 10 or 15 artists do it, and this year I kind of pared it down because I got it was crazy. It was just, I feel bad as having people create stuff for this. It's awkward, but they're amazing and awesome. But yeah, we have this amazing D&D map. If you scroll down to the bottom, where because we took over the whole 3rd floor this year. The first year we just had the small ballroom. Now we have the whole 3rd floor with panels, and on the same floor as well. And there's a D&D map where you get to explore all the different rooms, meet all the different creators, and if you get all the prizes or get all the the stamps, you win a prize. And then we're gonna have like a grand prize that I will announce later. Not gonna give that away. But
shout out Anton William Blake, who did that one.
Anton, when he showed me that dragon, I was like, that's an effing dragon at my convention. Like, it's awesome. So good. But yeah, no, the show is just a really awesome party at heart. Like the community aspect and the vibe, and Drink and Draw on Friday, the after party on Saturday, those 3 a.m. photos that I saw that people kept sharing, I wish they'd stop sharing, but a lot of smiles. Lots of smiles on that show.
And there is a Popeyes right across the street from the hotel, which is open late.
Yes.
That was huge.
Amazing. Okay, so real quick, anyway, how much? Oh, we got one word describing last year's show. One word. Eli.
Family.
Chris.
Mind-bogglingly good. That's 2
Jamie.
words.
Happy times.
There you go.
Happy
Dan.
place.
Trailblazing.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Appreciate
And
it,
then
man.
please help Antoine and everyone out watching just one more time where you're at online.
I'm at Cosmic Lion Productions, or Cosmic Lion just for me.
At Chris Anderson Comics on almost everything.
Art of Jamie Jones on everything.
Dan.
Yeah, at Comics Wellspring. Well, unless you want to talk to me directly, it's at Hills Art Studios.
There you go. Oh man, this was so much fun.
Really
Thank
fun.
you so much,
And
guys.
Indie Comics Creator Con, and if you give a shit, Kasra Ghanbari. Here, one more. Thanks, everybody. Couldn't have said it better. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sean.
It was a little. Sorry if I was a little bit fast, ran over you a little bit, but we're over time already. So imagine how bad it would have been if I didn't do that. But thank you all so much, taking your time, coming on, sharing, and look up everyone here online. March is going to be incredible. Imagine 150 people, sort of as cool as these people. That's just the exhibitors in one place. That's just the exhibitors. So,
yeah, man.
All right. I'm going to act like I know what I'm doing here, and I'm going to go here, and I'm going to push this button, and then we're going to exit. Thanks, guys. Stay on if you have a minute. We'll talk to you backstage for a second.
Cool.
All right.
Comics.
All right.
Woo.
I think we're still live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've tried to end the stream and it won't end. That's funny. I'm gonna have to do this stupid exit thing again.
We are live.
I'm
we're
gonna.
gonna have to go to the
I
big
just
screen
removed
again?
it. Bye bye.